Just going to wait till I can see me on the screen. And then I can shut myself up on the screen as well, because that gets very distracting. I see me. Oh, that's all right. I'm already silenced. Yes, we're here. We've arrived. Right. Okay, are we ready? We're going to go
Yes.
for it. 3, 2, 1. Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And we'd like to welcome you to today's show where you can either decide if it's rooted in truth or deluded nonsense. And John's going to tell us more about it.
Yes, whichever right answer is right for you is right for you. So, we don't bear any grudges. We just share the energy, share the information, and right and proper, everybody has to be discerning in this day and age, right? So, um,
Correct.
but we've got Dr. David with us again for the second week running, actually, and we've still not done with him because there is so much high quality, life-changing information from Dr. David Clements. We just got to keep going with him. But today's is super important for our personal evolution. So I'm excited about that. And we've also got the remarkable Elizabeth April as well, remote viewer extraordinaire. And she has her links to the Galactic Federation and gets a lot of useful information from them every month. And it's from that that, again, there's a lot of deep, profound sharing from that. And again, absolute practical steps to help us to navigate the times ahead of us. So it's all very exciting, and we're very grateful to everybody who is here today and arriving as we speak. So thank you, thank you, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to be with us today. Tell all your friends about it, if they we'll ask them the deluded nonsense or truth question in chat.
Yes.
What do you think, Jolé? Anything to add to that?
I think a lot of our friends might be moving into it being conscious truth. So let's give them a little bit more to talk about.
Yes. No, it is. I mean, to me, we never put anything out there that we don't hand on heart believe in. Okay. So again, everybody's truth is their own. It's all about sovereignty, personal sovereignty now, right? So this is why we always encourage people to research things for themselves and be discerning. But I think, Jolene, what do you reckon? We go straight into part one.
Yes. Let's get it moving.
Let's get it moving. Here we go. Dr. David Clements next up for you. Bear with me a second.
What my teams were trying to tell me, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, my high self, and the other teams that would come in as well, was saying that one of the things that humanity is going to shift with is your perception that everything is structural when it isn't. Structure is something that is created within fields. It's not a primary thing. In other words, if you imagine an ocean, everything is ocean, and suddenly an ice forms within the ocean. It's still water, but now it's become a structural aspect sitting in a fluid medium that itself has no structure. I know, water still has an atomic and molecular structure, but if you imagine just as a continuous fluid, suddenly you get the perception of something that is manifested within that space that is of that substance, but has crystallized into a form, which we call structure. And the way I understand it now is they're saying everything, fundamental particles, atoms, are all in essence that, and by having these basic building blocks to put together, you can then form even bigger structures and bigger formations into human beings, DNA, planets, galaxies, you name it. It's all this beautiful fractal progression from this source field sort of making itself into more and more structure and more density to where we get to where we are now. We get to play in this very dense structure. But as we open up the energetics of those and they start to become more fluid and move back towards that source oneness, suddenly the perception of structure falls away and the quality of infinite everything starts to come back into play again. And they were saying that when you, the dichotomy of structure is that the more in structure or more focused in physicality you are, the less perception, the more you lose the perception of the infinite all. Whereas as you head back towards the infinite all, suddenly you have perception of everything, including the structure as well. And that's where humanity largely finds itself, because we've become so tuned to the structural attributes of what we see around us. We've fixated ourselves on it, that we have largely lost the perception of the actual infinite living field qualities that actually underlie that structure, if that makes sense. So that's one of the things that I had to kind of, come to terms with over the many years of working. And it's like undoing the old to realize, oh my goodness, it really is that simple. You don't need to have, to go through and do a PhD to understand this stuff. And they were always saying to me, the more simple and playful you can keep it, the more closer to the truth you're gonna get. The more you complicate things, the more you start to make, brainiac things, I guess you could say, the further away from the actual truth you're going to move. I was so sure about my mind perspective and approach on things that untethering myself and letting go of that and being in that space, like, a monkey swinging from another branch, letting go and being in that in-between when you're not sure where you're actually going to grab next. And they were saying that actually you're not going to grab anywhere next. You're letting go completely. This is what it is to move into that trust. And to me, trust is really just another word for surrendering to self, true self. There's nothing to grab on. There's nothing to hold on to. You are literally like as if you were going into an ocean and just completely letting go and relaxing and surrendering into the living organic being that the ocean is. And it's very similar for yourself, the way you do that. And that is a scary prospect. It was for me, and I know it is for a lot of people, because we're so used to grip and holding on. And that's another thing that keeps us in structure, because we feel like when we've got a grip on our lives or we've got a sort of control, it makes us feel safe, or it gives us the illusion of safety. But in truth, the safest place we could ever be is in complete self-surrender, because one way to look at it is, like my teams and my higher self were saying, when you surrender to self, that heart center, and you allow that intelligence to emanate, instead of having to control your life to make sure this doesn't happen, or I stay away from that, or I head in that direction where I want to go, by forcing and reshaping and physically moving things in place in your life, what happens is that intelligence comes through and it starts to organize everything for you in a high dimensional energetic way. And suddenly things just move out of their way by themselves. Things rearrange themselves. Things that you thought were heading your way just disappear. And they're saying that when you have such a level of emanation of that source intelligence, many depictions of masters of the past having this sort of effervescent glow that came from them. And what my teams were suggesting to me, and I feel from my higher self, is that glow was a massive level of source intelligence that was coming and glowing from them, that literally everything in their lives would shape it exactly as that source intelligence within them, their core self, would love it to be. And it does so in a way that brings the most joy to you and the most joy to everybody else around. It knows you inside and out. It knows them inside and out, because it underlies all of us. It's the one unified source field. It knows every being that is in existence right now, and it knows the whole spread of everything, and it knows exactly how to work things in a way that's going to, bring you the greatest joy, help you learn the lessons that you wish to learn, and move you in those directions. Whereas control is more based on fear of not wanting to experience something so as to avoid it, but we end up encountering it anyway, because we're actually still holding on to it whether we know it or not.
So, last week we spoke about the 4 layers of reality that make up the world around us, and it is demonstrated how we create the world around us into structure, care of both the pure quantum field layer and the subquantum layers as the foundation for everything in existence. And this is the infinite living field that David refers to, that underlie all of the structures that we accept as reality. Keeping things simple and playful gets us to the truth, whereas so many academics get boxed in by adding unnecessary complications that then get mirrored back to them as they create their own reality. This makes me grateful to not be a brainiac. I've always had a desire to keep things simple, so my lack of PhDs and higher learning may well be playing into my hands after all. Meanwhile, the idea of surrendering our perceived control is both frightening and liberating in equal measure. And as we know, that surrender has to be fearless, or we may draw towards ourselves that we are fearing. We need to be that chimpanzee that fearlessly flies through the trees from vine to vine, not knowing where the next vine is, but trusting the universe is going to put it there for us. I have a fierce desire to be that metaphorical monkey with that ascended master's effervescent glow, so that source intelligence is lining things up perfectly for me. Hopefully not idly checking the rotor to see who was in charge of vines today. Hey, but there's that fear thing again. Programming and conditioning in the false matrix is multi-layered, but with the layers removed, we are liberated into our greatest joy as the heavy lifting that we thought was down to us here in the physical, it gets released for those who really do know what they are doing. Jolé, what would you care to add?
I find it interesting that he spoke about how structure, it's creation. He used an ocean for an example. And if you think about it in terms of ice taking on the structure, a solid structure, but also a cup. And I see us as sort of like a cup. And there's this saying, you are the ocean in a cup, right? And if the creator is the ocean, then all things that is contained within you as well. So to tap in to all that is, that's already in you, your job from then on out is sort of to create. How do you then do that? There's all these pockets, like even as a person who is spiritually, let's say, learned, I still get a little cynical because I'm thinking to myself, these principles sound so out there and they're being given to us by people who have money. Like,
Yeah.
where does it, where us down here who are using these physical principles, is that the only manifestation to prove that we are indeed the ocean or that we are spiritual beings? Because I'm looking at David Clements and all that has come forth from him and what that has created. I'm frustrated at the same time. So it's really about utilizing your tools to fall into these pockets in a way that can create structure for you. And yes, it can be beating our feet and taking action, but that's a force from within. And if there's all of these blocks that are there, that action, it gets further and further away from being taken. So all of these questions we've got to sit here and answer on an individual level.
Okay, Jolé, well, thank you very much for that. We are going to go into the next part with Dr. David.
They were saying that the mind's version of understanding, as it operating as an independent instrument that is somewhat separated from the heart intelligence, is control. That's its version of understanding. Once it has, you've heard the term many times, once I've got a grip on this concept or this idea, well, that's control. You're trying to master or grip it and think that you've mastered it. You need to let go. But the heart's version of understanding is compassion. And what they were saying is when the human mind makes a sufficient reconnection and becomes an instrument of the heart center, that need to control and grip and have a handle on things disappears. It becomes a blissful, very beautiful instrument that is capable of imagining things that are beyond anything that we can do right now. And that's all part of the wholesome of integration again, and it all comes back to the heart center and that core source intelligence that is in the very heart of the sacred heart or the soul heart. And inside, they were saying there is a gateway that I refer to as the infinite source gateway, which is each of our direct access to the source field. Nothing interrupts it. It's your direct calling line back to the source field, and we each have one. And they've been teaching me, and I've sort of been sharing these meditations, since about 2000 and it was the end of 2023 when source intelligence came through and told me about this and said, we would really love for you to help people understand this so that they can do it themselves. To really connect with that infinite source gateway and start opening the floodgates so source intelligence can start saturating your cellular structure, your body, your mind, and begin building that beautiful, pristine human condition of what we're moving into.
First of all, you said there's specific meditations for the heart center. Is that something you can share now, or?
Yeah, there's actually two free ones. So what we did, we made a platform, and to keep it ad-free, it's a paid-for platform. So we do ask that certain meditations on a subscription, but most of it's for free. So the numbers, if I remember correctly, 14 and 15 are specifically to do with the initial access to opening the infinite source gateway and to open that bridge up. You can do those for free. You can share them around. People could do those. That's fine. And so that is the real foundation, I feel, that, because one way of thinking about it is this. Somebody once asked, why is it that as a human form we come in and we have this experience where we start, we come into the world as this beautiful baby, full of, you can look into a baby's eyes and you can see the presence of source just beaming out. It's just full of light, love, and fun, and it's just a bundle of joy. And then as it grows up, suddenly all the indoctrination starts and everything starts going a little bit, south. And then suddenly, the body just, instead of supporting itself, just starts falling downhill. And the way my teams explained it was that the source intelligence knows how to generate, support, and change everything exactly to create the right conditions to make everything work properly. Because everything, including cells, the molecules, the DNA, right down to the very atoms and fundamental particles, the subatomic particles that make all of that up, operate, it's all come from source intelligence. But source intelligence respects free will fundamentally without question. And so as a species, because we've made collective choices over many, many lifetimes to just go down, 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 down in density, and lose the perception, and you can't lose the connection to source intelligence completely, that is not possible, but you can put such a cloud of a fortress around you that it makes it seem like it's gone. And what happens is that diminishes the ability of that source intelligence to flood and so nurture and invigorate the cellular structure we call the human body, and go through the DNA system, which is like a beautiful quantum optical light fiber system, if you like. So much to talk about that in itself. That's a whole series all of itself. But when that light reinvigorates and reinfuses through there, that living intelligence, you get back to what we hear about these masters of the past, when they could do all these crazy, amazing things just by just a simple thought, and they would glow with this effervescence, which was this living source energetic coming through them. And so that is where I believe that we're all coming back to and where we're heading to, but it relies on our choice, because it's never going to be forced upon us. It's always, here is the option. What would you like to do? You can follow this path if you like, back to your truth, back to yourself, and your self-unfolding, or you can continue on just as you are. It's up to you. So it's not like, source is just going to flood in and say, right, I'm going to put you straight, I'm going to sort all your problems out, I'm just going to gush through, and you're going to be back to scratch. Because that undoes the whole principle of your free choice and your evolution as a free choice living being. So it does rely on our choice to connect and invite, and that's a very key word, to invite in, continually invite in, however you wish to do it. I mean, they've told me that inviting in with a breath is a very fundamentally deep way of doing it, and they do that in the meditations that people can access there. And the infusion of that living source intelligence, as you use the full rhythmic breath to breathe that into your cells, into your body, we've had such profound feedback from people about how suddenly it's just rocket launched them in their spiritual development in ways they were never able to do before. And what I say to people, do you see that wonderful magic? I didn't do that to you. You did that within yourself, and that is the point, because we all have that access right there. No one gives it to us. Yes, somebody can make you aware of it, but you go in and you invite it through, and you build the relationship. You build that sense of self, that sense of self-beingness as a source intelligent being. Suddenly, now you're rocketing, now you're really going for it, and that in of itself is such a beautiful, event that happened to me, and I see it happening for other people as well. The joy of seeing people take that mantle and going for that is very, very profound.
So Jolé, this is very much your domain, so I'm going to hand over to you. Though I will add that David's teachings that have been inspired by our galactic chums are bang in line with the teachings of Drunvalo Melchizedek, who is also very cosmically connected as well as aligned with Thoth the Atlantean, who, as we learned from the channeled work of Sarah Breskman Cosme in A Hypnotist's Journey to Avalon, Thoth was the architect of this Planet Earth Ascension program. I love that we have such amazing, high quality, inspirational thought leaders to help us remember who we have been all along, albeit for the most part at a very unconscious level. However, to hand this over to someone who has been more consciously awake for the last few decades, Jolé, what would you care to add?
It's a beautiful thing to come forth from the heart and allow for that to expand and really begin to receive what it is that is your purpose. David is very eloquent in the way in which he describes this movement into purpose and into becoming one with. However, as a human being, we know that requires kind of slowing down. And in this world we live in, it's all about the fast pace, and some of us may be stuck there. So what does it look like to connect with the zero field and to move into the expansiveness of the heart and calm the ego down, right? It requires you taking time throughout your day to do exactly what he said, which is breathe. I find myself having done that so much that now breathing is a part of my day, meaning that I'll be breathing out loud no matter where I am. I'll be taking deep breaths in and exhaling because now it's just become a part of you. Always know that you're a being of light and blessings, and that when you begin to pour in that self-love to yourself, realizing who you are, your breath becomes natural and you will begin to flow with the energy of a high vibration and frequency, which then what? Aligns you with your purpose. But understand this, the process takes slowing down a tad bit and breathing. Now, when you get up from there, you can move your feet as fast as you want, but you've got to stop and take some time, or you benefit by stopping and taking some time throughout your day to connect with your breath.
Yeah, I love that. It is such an important thing. The breathwork sessions by our good friend and community member, Isa Visanti, are fantastic. And again, I'll put a link to that in the details below because she really does have an excellent community there that does breathwork every month. And then you get a recording and you can listen to it. So just such an amazing experience. So thank you, Jolé. Much appreciated. Right now, we are heading over to Elizabeth April for the first part of what is a brilliant summary of one of her remote viewing sessions with the Galactic Federation. So this is really deep, it's really profound, and I think it really helps to build on what David is saying as well.
There are these periods in our life of growth. And we only grow through challenge, through turbulence, through suffering, through the dark densities, right? I mean, imagine this. Imagine you had all of the money in the world. Imagine you had all of the friends in the world. Imagine you had all of the emotional intelligence, all of the knowledge, all of the everything that you could ever have in this world. What's the point? What are you doing? How are you growing? How are you moving forward? You aren't. Right? A lot of the reason why we forget who we are and we forget our past lives and we forget what we've already learned is to see just how good we are at remembering, to see just how quickly we can pick up on lessons we've learned before and apply ourselves to situations in an appropriate way. We forget so we can remember, so we can move. Challenge is growth and movement. And so, although they're called growth points, they're really challenging points in our life. Sometimes they're freak accidents or just random health crises or illnesses that we come down with. Sometimes it's the loss of your job or a change in your relationship or a move, a really big move. But these are challenges in our life that help us to move forward, to learn, and to grow. Now, what this being was saying is that in the past, we would have these growth points or these ego deaths or these existential crises, I don't know, once every 5 years, maybe once every 7 years. But right now, we've got this condensing of the growth points. We've got many growth points, many challenges, so much movement, so much density all at once. And that is for a reason. That's designed for a reason. One of the analogies that this being brought up was an elastic band. I don't know if this is going to make sense. It made sense to me, but essentially he was saying that there's like, we're stretching the elastic band and all of the growth points, all of the challenges are within that tension point of the elastic band. And just as it's stretched to its limit, just as we think that we can't take or handle any more, right? The elastic band snaps and all of the density is removed and we transition into a higher frequency. We have to feel the lower vibrations. We have to feel the negative stuff. We have to feel the challenge. We have to feel the suffering. We have to feel the lack in order to better understand polarity here in this universe, not just on this planet, right? We are in a master class right now. We are in a PhD of experience. And in order to get to the next level, we have to pass the exam. And that's what we're in right now. We are truly in the exam of a lifetime. Doesn't mean that once we get past this, there's not going to be any more, but it definitely means that once we get past this, we're going to be strong enough to never have to go through this amount of density again. So maybe you have gone through it in the past couple years. Great. I'm hoping that you are through it. Maybe you're in it right now. Great. Be in it, and I'm going to help you navigate it with the other points here that they brought up. And maybe life is really good for you right now. And wow, incredible. I am so glad that you are there. And I was there like 8 months ago. So I get it and I feel you. And when you are there, it feels like nothing can touch me. I'm good. I can't even imagine or for a foreseeable challenge in the future. And then boom, it hits, right? So just keep in mind that anything can change. I mean, change is the only true constant in life. So we've got to be open-minded. We've got to expect the unexpected right now. And you might be in for a rug pull if you're not already deep in it. If you're already deep in it, I'm hoping this is it. I'm truly hoping once we get through this, it will be brighter on the other side. And I believe that. So please keep in mind that the growth periods are condensing and it is a lot all at once right now, and that's okay. It's designed like that for a reason to help us along in our transition. It's like everything we've ever learned is hitting us right now to see, have you really learned this?
So, as we know, the veil of forgetfulness descends upon birth, and we begin this amazing journey through the density of this 3D existence, programmed and conditioned to believe we are so much less than we are. And we chose to be part of it all, in order we could test ourselves through a series of challenges to create soul growth, and then to ultimately remember our true divine nature when the time is right. Meanwhile, these challenges are now coming at us thick and fast as the condensing of the growth points takes place, creating yet more density. I do understand the elastic band analogy, and moreover, as mentioned last week, I think this is also the same as the traversing the singularity explanation that looks like this, where the energies on one side of the cone get so condensed and crowded as we get closer to going through the singularity portal, which then, much like when the elastic band snaps, there is a sudden blissful release into expansion and a new dimension. So hang on in there, folks. This was explained by Saratoga Ocean Channel's Archangel Michael, who really does know a thing or two. That show is linked in the description below in case you missed it. Yes, we are in a masterclass and PhD, as Elizabeth puts it, and this is an exam that we really do want to pass. But when we study, we now know to keep it simple and playful, not brainiac. And fair warning that change is the only constant in life because our distorted conditioning has taught us to seek safety and sameness. Well, ready or not, that is being turned on its head. So we might do well to surrender to our divine team in spirit and have faith in that guidance, as there lies a better understanding of the big picture. And it takes the pressure off us at a conscious level if we can surrender our desire to control the uncontrollable and instead trust that the vine will appear to you at that perfect moment so that you continue to swing through the trees with grace and with ease. It's time to get our monkey on. Jolé, what would you care to add?
Isn't it a beautiful thing that the future is written in pencil? That's what I always believe. Because I'll be honest with you, I hear Elizabeth April and I know that she's connected in her power, but I am rebuking all struggle. I have no time for it anymore. And moving into that timeline and that split that she talks about and Dolores Cannon talks about means that there's this level or 0 point of creation where I'm not saying that we're not struggling, but if we are who we say we are, then we should be able to sit down and create our future, to pivot, to put new things out there in the ether to be made manifest, especially if it's true that this has been a split. I understand that people are struggling. And I believe one of the reasons why is because no one's helping each other. We have this individuated idea, the duality that's going on in the right and the left brain, and getting in the heart means loving and helping one another. That's what it means. It means us sitting down and sending Elizabeth April positive, beautiful, loving energy that whatever is going on with her is healed, corrected, and she's made whole again because she's doing God's work. She's actually absolutely an angel. But how I believe and what I am stepping into is whatever struggle or challenge is coming into my life is of a high vibration and energy, and that shadow is going to feed the light. Because I've got enough pictures and enough experience of challenges and struggles and what people consider opportunities. I'm ready to kick my feet up and be of service in a way that creates freedom for me and mine. And that doesn't look like somebody pulling the rug out from under me right now. I rebuke all of that. Sorry, that's just how I feel. Like there has been so much struggle in this world. Let's pivot. Please, let's pivot and let's let go of the belief that we need it to thrive. We don't need that. We need open air spaces, clean water, good food, be able to relax, slow down, meditate, garden, have tea with our friends, go to the gym. This is really what we need. We don't need the slavery construct anymore. That's where struggle came from. I'm sorry, people, I'm done. I'm done with it.
I love it. I love it. It's the false matrix. At the end of the
Yes.
day, it's the false matrix. It's what we've been programmed into. It's coming to an end. And it's going to,
Yes.
but before it comes to an end, we go through this situation where that singularity type of thing comes on, where it all condenses. But once you get through that singularity point, then, world of unspeakable beauty. Thank you, Jolé. We are moving on to the next section.
So yeah, the other thing that came up from a different being is that our cells, okay, this is at a cellular level, our cells are purging and creating illness, which I thought was really fascinating. So apparently, things like emotional traumas and even like past injuries, all of those things are being stored in our body. And apparently, up until recently, we were able to function properly without worry. And it's like we weren't even aware of the amount of stress and the amount of trauma that our bodies were holding. And now the veil between sort of sweeping everything under the rug and just sort of making out like everything's okay, that veil is really thin. and we can no longer sweep things under the rug. You can think of it as like the rug is full, okay? There's no more sweeping under the rug. Now it's time for all of us to lift that rug and to vacuum out all of that crap, all of that dust, all right? And essentially, this is what this being was saying, is that all of the traumas that we've been holding, emotional traumas, or even physical injuries that we've been holding and storing in our body at a cellular level are all getting purged out right now. So if you are in the middle of some random illness or a freak accident or an emotional crisis, that's not just happening randomly. It's happening at this time to release itself from your body at a cellular level. So just keeping that in mind, that these are different beings talking about similar things in different ways. And this was the most important, most urgent information that we needed to know as human beings right now.
And we're back. So, you know, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because this thing that Elizabeth talks about at the end there, about the fact that we are getting this bombardment, if you like, from a cellular perspective, where things may happen to us, old injuries, or emotional things that have not been addressed. And we've heard this a lot over the last few months, are coming back to the surface. So even the personal injuries, and it's interesting because I've got something there, like it's just in the palm of my hand, and I've not had that for 15 years. Suddenly came back about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I thought, where's that been for 15 years? I mean, it's nothing much, right? It's tiny. And there's other things, right? And you start to think, okay, maybe stuff is coming back to the surface for a reason, and stuff that's a lot more concerning than that, put it that way. But nevertheless, it's very, very interesting. And the other thing that we are really going to focus upon, one of the things that David talked about in his discussion was the meditations that he's put in. Meditation, he calls them number 14 and number 15 of his series that he's put through, which are available. And we will have a link actually in the details below that will enable you to get access to that. You may find you have to pay to get into the Patreon side of things, but they may, you may be able to get them for free, but give it a go anyway. But nevertheless, Jolé and I have both watched the number 14 one so far, and it is really good. And what we do want to do is play you a little bit of that. But before we do that, let's bring Jolé back in and give us your synopsis.
It's a very powerful meditation. One of the ways that I know I am getting this meditation or the creative visualization is working is I always have this chill go through my body. And during this meditation with David Clements and his infinite creation sequence, I had a lot of those going on. So the beginning of it is him really answering questions. Then he moves into a part that John is about to play, which I would say really helps you to lock in. And so if you could just take this with you through starting out with any creative visualization and meditation, and then moving it into aspects of your life. And it's very interesting that, just now I'm recognizing what you said, which was Elizabeth April. She brought up how diseases are coming back to the surface or things to be healed. I'm also experiencing that in some ways as well. But guess what? I'm not here for that anymore. Whatever I need to learn, whatever I need to resolve and dissolve in this moment, it's done. And whatever is ailing me that is back here that's a demon in my life or a lesson, however you want to look at it, no, thank you. I love you. Thank you. I've learned as much as I need to learn from you, but this time I'm in control. My higher self is in control. So whatever lesson needed to be learned, I say step in confidence and say, hey, wait a second. Let me recognize this. What's going on? Am I having issues with self-esteem? Am I having issues with confidence? Which chakra is blocked? Let me deal with this right now in real time so that we don't have this manifestation. And that's the pivot.
Yes. Yeah, no, and that's what I love about this, because I think these meditations by David, I mean, they are, I say by David, but they're channeled effectively from our galactic friends. But
Yes.
between the power of this is between those and the work that you do with us, Jolé, is super powerful because it's that resolving and dissolving. It's
Yes.
identifying the fact that nature abhors a vacuum, so therefore
Yeah.
you're going to bring down that golden sun with the positives.
Exactly. And think about that, especially when we run energy and you have that cascading river of gold light moving down through your brain, moving down your spine, mixing in, beginning to fill you up. There. Sit in that knowingness. That is the creation zero point during the visualization meditation that allows for you to start, okay, now I'm holding space for my purpose, my vision. See it. If you don't know what it is, then bring it in.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Right, okay, so now we're going to leap into this little 6 minute plus section of David on that meditation number 14. So bear with me a second because this is pretty inspirational.
Since connecting with the infinite source love within, there was a growing knowingness. And I didn't even start thinking about it. It was just a knowingness that started coming in. And I just started feeling, I keep getting this knowingness that what Source is asking us to do as humanity is it's time now. And it's been time for a little while for humanity to take the, take the emphasis off of outer focus and really start focusing on the source creation, the true infinity of who you really are inside. And that is the only focus that is of importance. And that doesn't negate, the, other stuff that's going on. You still need to operate in your lives. You still have to have some outer focus. But there was a real powerful but gentle and serene knowingness of Source saying, humanity, it is time to come in. It is time to be who you are in your truth. It's time to get to know yourself, to build that relationship within your infinite self while holding individuated form as the human being that you are. There's such an important thing about that relationship between being both infinite inside and also having individuated form. That synergy, that marriage, if you like, is a very, very important one. And we have we've had so many emails from people expressing that the wish and the desire, the love inside to have, they really want, so many people just really want that connection within. And for myself as well, I found, having done courses in the past and different things, they were very helpful. I learnt a lot of tools and bits and pieces from those in the early days. But I feel, and perhaps it's true to say now, that there are so few people, like Crystalline was saying, that are really looking to help people bridge and activate and make that connection within. Because that infinite source point within you is your greatest friend. It is your greatest ally. And it is the true love of your life. And, and I find in my experience of when you get to know that intelligence within you, because it is the real you, and your higher self, what we call our higher selves, is the immediate higher self that we have in the higher dimensions above us, is an immediate aspect of that. But I feel the amalgamation of your higher self and the source love as the greater expanse as a whole, that's where this is all heading to. And it's such a sweet, it's so hard to find the words to describe this, because it's such an experience and feeling to do this yourself. And I'm so excited that you guys are going to go through this today. And I found the initial activation for me was initially quite very powerful, and then it was very gentle. It was just building, building, building. And as it did, this new knowingness, just almost every day, I get a new layer of knowingness of myself as the quality of that energy. And the calmness, the serenity, the peacefulness that grew inside me was really palpable. Again, it's very hard to put this into words. I'm trying to find the right way to put it across. But also the trust, and that's an important thing as well, because lots of people talk about, oh, just trust and go on. But for me now, I know there's such a difference between telling myself to trust and the knowingness of trust. And that's something that just naturally comes forward when you connect with the infinity point. The trust is an implicit quality of that energy, as is peace, as is the true nature of your intelligence, as love. It's such a beautiful thing. So Noel 13 says, like a river flowing through you. That's exactly what it is. It literally is source intelligence streaming through you. And as it does, I believe you're going to find, as I did, that all of these old paradigms, even identities I didn't realize I had, just start dissolving away, and I feel there's a transition. I'm getting a yes. I can feel that intelligence saying yes inside, that as you make this transition and you move inward and you start to become that source intelligence, because it is you, all the other paradigms that could be considered false paradigms or things we hold on to and grip to but don't even realize we're doing it, all those things are just going to gently dissolve away by themselves. And the era of having to work on things and clear things the way we have, I feel is going to shift. And instead of having to work through things the way we have, such a state of grace will come through as it started to for me when this activation first took place, where things just fall off. They just disappear. They just go away. And that's one of the beauties of source intelligence, that all the things that we have held together by sheer grip in our lives, it's just going to ask you, just let it go.
I'm back again. So I love that. One of the things he talks about continuously inviting in through the breath. And again, that breath work, we talked about it during the program today, is so important. The knowingness of trust, not just, should I be able to trust this? The knowing that trust is absolute. And that means that you're pretty convinced, that vine is going to be waiting for you as you let go of one and you're just swinging through the trees, right? When you've got your monkey on. And that is basically what that is about. The knowingness of trust really kind of, I love that. The dissolving of old identities, which means we don't have to work on it. It just happens for us. It just dissolves, resolves and dissolves, as we know when Jolé is doing the work with us as well. And the state of grace, that will come through us as the activation manifests, which kind of gives us like an evolution amnesty, right? Where things are going to happen for us. And I love that. And I know that, as Jolé always tells us, all these things have to be a practice. So that's all I'm going to say on it. So I'm going to bring Jolé back in, and then we'll ultimately go back to Elizabeth April, who's going to lead us into Jolé's magical meditation today. So what do you think, Jolé?
I'm just grateful that I get to do this, because while you were talking and we were watching this, it really came to me that one of the ways to get through this bottleneck is to really work out who that quantum energy, the divine source, is to you, because we have so much dissonance in our learning Meaning, you know, especially if you believe in one of the big three, Judaism, Islam or Christianity, there's this kind of dissonant God where vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Oh, but I love you and I forgive all sins. Which one is it? You know what I mean? Which kind of God are you bringing through you? Because then when it's made manifest in human beings, and now we've labeled it bipolar, but would we ever call God bipolar when all throughout our learning, that's what it has been? I love you, my child. Floods, pestilence, you know, like all of this drama and struggle. So we've got to get rid of that. We've got to work out the dissonance and know who the creator is that is flowing through us. And that is one of creation. That is one of solution. That is one of self-loving and moving and supporting each other. Get clear about the knowingness with which you are flowing with, right?
Yes.
Because I also intellectualize a lot, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's duality, and that's the kind of God we have. We have an intellectual God. So let's start to feel from a soul, heart-based perspective. You know, if it feels right, it's right. If it doesn't, speak your truth, say something about it, or let them have their free will and move away. You know, we really need to do more of that, is let people have, as long as they're not hurting anyone, let them have their free will and move away. It's none of your business what someone else's t-shirt says. Avert your eyes, you know, like, you know, if people, you don't like what they're, get up and move. Like, you have free will and the right as they do too. So that was my tangent, but moving into this energy, be clear.
Be clear. Yeah. It is going to, I think this is really powerful stuff. I mean, you know, last week it was kind of talking about, you know, the genetic codes, right? So the what do you call it? The degenerative codes versus generative codes, and
Yes.
Dr. David providing the solution to that. And now we have this, which is all about us, right? This is all about going within. I think it's powerful stuff, and I'd be really interested. Members of the community who tried it, if just let us know, just drop us a line,
Yes.
tell us how you get on.
Absolutely.
Because as I said before, with that coupled with Jolé's guided meditations, it's powerful. Very.
Yeah. And you really will see things speed up in real time for you when you allow for these things to take place. But it's really about surrendering. And that is such a big word, very intangible, and it means things differently to different people. So really getting to know who you are through meditation and internal digging is where it's at right now, to get through the density of that bottleneck and moving into that new timeline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you think? Shall we move on to the
Yes.
final section by Elizabeth
Yes.
April, which is basically here to help us to navigate through the changes that are taking place that she mentioned in the previous section and the section before that. And so here's a practical section, and then Jolé will build on that for us. So we'll hit the button. Thank you, everybody, and see you on the other side.
So what do we do with this, right? Great. We're suffering. We're all suffering. This is fantastic. You're not alone. I'm not alone. We're all going through it. What's the advice? What do we do about this? There are 3 questions that we all need to be asking ourselves right now to better understand and better navigate the current dynamics. First question is, what am I being challenged with? So simple. I think at a surface level, we can all very easily answer this. What am I being challenged with? Is it financial stuff? Is it family stuff? Is it work stuff? Is it your neighbors? You know, is it your own interpersonal dynamics? Is it childhood trauma? What are you being challenged with? Period, full stop. on a surface level, okay? Second question, super important. When have I been challenged with this before? Because like I said, and like these beings were saying, everything that's happening right now is not new. This is all old stuff coming to the surface, needing to be cleared and purged. When else in my life have I been challenged with this before? Maybe it's coming up as a family thing right now, but 10 years ago, it was a coworker thing. Maybe it's coming up as a financial thing right now, but 5 years ago, it was a job loss, right? It's lack, right? Whatever it is. Please, please, please start making the connections of your current present day challenges and past experiences. This is beyond important, because if you were to believe that right now, the traumas, the triggers, the reactions, the emotion, the suffering that you are facing is brand new, totally random, out of the blue, okay? If you were to believe that, what happens is we react to the trauma and we re-traumatize ourselves, therefore perpetuating the lesson. If we can connect the current trauma and the current challenge and the current trigger to the past, then what happens is we complete the cycle by seeing the whole picture. And when we can do that, we step outside of ourselves as the character. No, you're not just a mother. No, you're not just a neighbor. No, you're not just a husband. No, you're not just a wife. You're not just a whatever your identity or your role is that is triggering you right now, right? Take a look at the whole picture. So then the last question is, what am I learning? I see the challenge. I see the patterns. I'm making the connections. I'm taking a step back. Then what am I learning? What am I taking away from this? Not what am I still struggling with? What am I learning? What am I gaining access to through this experience? So, so important.
Take a deep breath in and just exhale out stress and a lack of faith. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out the past. Just breathe deeply for a moment and get in your body. As you become comfortable and relax, bring your awareness to your heart, your chest cavity. And just breathe. Let that air come down into your belly. And as you bring this air into your body, I want you to see your atoms and your cells just filled up with just air, just oxygen, just open, expansive space. Just like a garden, just soil. You could just see it. It's just waiting for creation. So as you take that breath in, you see it, those cells in your belly and in your gut, juicy and just waiting for you to just plant that gold light. You can see it in your back, your hips. See these beautiful atoms, the expansiveness of your blood cells. And then just, they're open and just filled with so much beautiful space. Just bouncy all the way down to your toes. And as you take that deep breath in, it moves up, up, up in your rib cage and your lungs and all of the things that make you up. Those atoms, they're just bouncing off of each other because they're so springy and they're just so filled with life. as it moves up into the heart. And in this heart is just so much unconditional love and gratitude for this experience as that then moves up into your shoulders, cascades that feeling down into your fingertips, just lit up into your neck, and just loving on those hormones for a minute and saying, you know what, it's safe, you're safe, regulate. As it moves up into your jaw, relaxing that into your mouth, bringing in words of wisdom, adding value, giving facts, speaking life as it moves up into the nose, and you smell the sweet scent of Mother Earth, and you see her beauty. As all of that essence begins, those atoms are bouncing around above you and into that higher self, and that connection is there. And that divine connection, don't you see? It's just these beautiful cells moving around, becoming one with the environment around you as you breathe with the rhythm of your body and understand that these cells are the cells of creation. So as you take a deep breath in and exhale, ground your energy into Mother Earth. See these beautiful atoms creating a visualized, imagined density of a Mother Earth element. We create density around the truth of what is, as this grounding cord moves through the layers of Mother Earth. It grounds itself in her beauty, in her nurturing energy. And these cells just begin to absorb all of the things that we need for our physical body to move out dis-ease and illness and move into health and wellness. Breathe. As the double whammy hits and those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles begin to clean off the grounding cord, and those atoms and those rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles do like this dance of just this beautiful dance, reconfiguring this grounding cord to be one of health, wellness, creation, and manifestation. Letting go of any of the ancestral programs, the genetic coding, reconfiguring the DNA. As we move up, 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 and back into our heart, we take a deep breath in and exhale. And we pull our aura in to be 1.5 feet around us. And those bubbles, those atoms, they just continue to move in tandem. Take a minute and control the cells of your aura. If they're all bunched up in one area, I want you to move them. They should all be flattened out and even all around your aura, 18 inches above and below you, right to the left and to the front and to the back of you. Yes, some of it may be underground. Take a moment and see all these beautiful, juicy cells and atoms bouncing up against one another, creating an electricity, aligning you with the laws of the universe, especially the back of you. Snap in your astral body, because what can happen is when we're working with the back of ourselves, we're going to use our astral body. So what does that look like? That just looks like our astral body, it's connected to us at our belly button with the silver string. It can kind of pop out and turn around, and it can then work with the back of our aura layer and straighten out and remove anything that no longer serves. Boom, goes right down that grounding cord. And immediately that energy of those cells regenerate. Visualize this beautiful energy, because what we have to do, right, in order to move through the bottleneck of this density, we kind of got to dematerialize. We got to become one with the bottleneck so that we can come out new, refreshed, and filled with this expansiveness of a new creation, one that is positive and filled with unspeakable beauty. So see these beautiful atoms blood cells, everything, this joy and amusement all throughout them. What does that look like? They're all the colors of the rainbow, moving through your body, moving through your aura layer. And make sure you get around your feet, down by your calves, your legs, straighten it all out. Have evenness all around you, wholeness of this beautiful energy just pulsating through you and around your aura layer. And you're grounded and rooted and being cleaned as you now visualize, as you take a deep breath in and exhale. We're going to simultaneously open our feet, our hands, and our crown chakras at the same time, allowing for that earth energy of a color that resonates with you to move up from Mother Earth. You see them as bubbles. We're all one with, everything is the same, the bubbles. They just have a different intensity and a frequency and a vibration, which is going to integrate with your energy as that essence moves up the side channels of your legs. It's a color that resonates with you, but there's so much expansiveness within it. It's framed by the color. Is it green? Blue-green for healing, red for action, yellow for personal power, confidence, orange for creativity. Do you want more intuition with that purple? More connection with the divine, with silver and gold? Or do you want that indigo to come forth from the throat and heal and have you speak your truth and speak life and creation into this earth? Whatever it is, bring it in. And that gold just absorbs it. It just hugs it. Just feel the love that divine life force energy the gold has for you and Mother Earth as it just moves through your body. And it just says to all these cells, I love you so much. I love you. I'm here for you. I support you. I am filling up every single one of these atoms with so much love and creativity so that you can move through this refreshed, renewed, and stepping into who you really are, which is what? A divine creator. So feel that quantum energy move through you. You are it, and it is you. And as you sit in this space of this beautiful Mother Earth energy, this river of her truth, of her reality, of her desire to bring you what you want, to materialize it for you. And for the creator to say, hey, let's integrate. See this essence meet in the heart. See that earth energy and that cosmic divine life force energy mix in with the heart. And the heart is just pulsating and pumping and letting out what looks like lightning, but it's just beams of love that are now moving out into your aura layer. And guess what it's doing? It's aligning you with the laws of the universe, and it's allowing you to bend matter to your will. So as you sit here with this electricity, this pulsation of unconditional love moving through you, as Mother Earth, you are a channel of divine light and blessings at 85% cosmic gold. Let that heart burst open as you hold this space to step through this density into something new. What does it look like? Get clear. Get clear. Get clear what you want. As we ask ourselves a few questions before we step into our most loving good. We must let go of anything that's holding us back. See the challenges resolve and dissolve out of those cells, and that gold light and Mother Earth move in. See all those past pictures resolve and dissolve themselves. We're not even going to pop them out. They're going out and down the grounding cord. Just see them turn into those little bubbles and move down your grounding cord as that cosmic life force energy follows it down. And put a golden sun above our head. And in this golden sun are bubbles. The golden sun is made up of all of these beautiful, bouncy, expansive bubbles of life force energy sitting in that cascading gold light of bubbles that's coming down from the heavens. And inside of this golden sun, we have all of the powerful and positive lessons from our past. Everything we've ever need to learn from disease, illness, traumas, challenges, stress, cell trauma, shock, fear, guilt, worry, shame, curses, spells, or karma, we're learning now. All the powerful and positive lessons and what was really happening is in that golden sun above our head. Whatever rug was there, whatever was swept under it, that may be in any of our chakras, is now being released down our grounding cord because we're going to put in a whole new rug. So bring that golden sun down and let it populate down into your chakras, down into your body. It's like carbonation. These cells are just moving together, working together to just create wellness in your life and align you with that vision as you now step through and into that new timeline. Lifetimes of density have now been cleared, resolved and dissolved, removed. As you hold the space and step into that new you, hold the vision. Now let these bubbles create density of the new you. Take a deep breath in. Frame these bubbles as you. Just a frame. These bubbles are still popping around, and that frame can resolve itself. It's like permeable, and those cells can move throughout into those aura layers. Take another deep breath in and allow for those aura layers, even though they are attached, moving in and out of one another to formulate in a way that aligns with your purpose and magnetizes in your most loving good. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow for that soul architecture, astral body, the higher self, the aura layer, to take on frame and also being permeable in the grounding cord. And as you take another deep breath in, I want you to just put yourself and your organs and your body back together with health, wealth recalibrated, filled with just the juiciness that all of the health, life has to give you. Your mind is clear, aligned. Your spirit is one with the divine. Joy and amusement is pulsating through all of you, parts of you. You're now simple and playful, and you speaking life and manifesting. You are the solution. You are what you're looking for. You are the answer. So create that. See those rivers flowing through you. The rivers of love, the rivers of peace, the rivers of wisdom, the rivers of abundance, rivers of connection and access. As you populate yourself with nothing but good, great, unspeakable beauty and ease, freedom. Bring it in, flow with it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it act like? What does it sound like? Feel that from a heart-centered space as you breathe with the rhythm of your body. And now you take a deep breath in and you see in all of the cells that are bouncing around, all of the atoms, I want you to see little gold seedlings of your goals and your dreams and your new unspeakable beauty, like a little teardrop, a little seed within each one of these cells. It's a little piece of that unspeakable beauty that you have created. And see it just one, and then it just multiplies all around you like light bulbs, right? Turning on all around you. Make sure that astral body sees the back and the bottom. See it light up like you're just this ball, this disco ball of gold. And these little seeds, what are they going to do inside of your cells? They're going to grow, and they're on every single aura layer, every single atom, bringing in health, bringing in wellness, aligning you with the laws of the universe, your most loving and highest good. That glow and that shine will be recognized by the universe, that you are one with, resonating at a high vibration and frequency. As you take another deep breath in and you see your feet closing like the lens of a camera and those bubbles swirling together to create a closure and earth energy receding back down and just leaving love behind. As you take another deep breath in, bringing in love for your body, love for your life, breathing out any residual past energy. As you close your hands, like the lens of a camera, once again, seeing those bubbles create a closure in your heart. See those bubbles and those atoms, those gold, beautiful lights create double doors. Close your heart. And as you take another deep breath in, this time hold it for just a moment. And as you exhale love, because that's all you are now. See those bubbles, those atoms create a closure over your crown, but all of it is permeable for positive life force energy only. As your higher self stands at the power position at a comfortable distance above your crown, and it's made up of just atoms framed with love. So now you are one with that quantum field of unspeakable beauty. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. Thank you very much, Jolé. That's, you know what? It kind of, you mentioned this and this kind of, and again, David Clements talks this as well, which is all about, we are the answer that we've been looking for all along, right? But we
Yeah.
need that guidance to help us to get there. But
Yes.
this is the powerful thing, right? We are the answer, and going into our divine neutrality is powerful stuff.
Yes, yes, it is. I really wanted to bring us there, and then I remembered, oh, I'm supposed to be having us answer these questions, right? I'm already in the density and through, and I'm like, oh no, we need to answer. What am I let it go, so I hope anyway you got what you needed out of it, and we can step into this energy to where the word struggle is like, how some words have been lost, we don't use them anymore. Maybe that can be one.
Mm. Mm. Yes, yes. I think that, it's exciting times. This is something, I was out with friends this week and it kind of struck me that they were kind of stuck, and as a lot of people, in the fear of the, what they see in front of us for the, and to me, I just see excitement. I see the excitement. I know it's not, we're going to get that condensing of the timelines. We're going to get all that kind of stuff. But when you think about what we're waiting for on the other side, our world of unspeakable beauty, it is such a fantastic thing. So.
Yes. So we can't get there fast enough, can we?
Bring it on, bring it on. And we're going to do a little bit more on Elizabeth April as well as David Clements next week as well, because the messages from both of them are so deep and so profound. And I think that it deserves finishing off that particular series in style. So beautiful. Okay, so what do you reckon, Jolé? Is it time for our wrap up?
Yes, it is. And don't forget, if you watch the show and you like what you saw, and even if you didn't, please like, share, and subscribe. We would really appreciate the expansion of our what we're trying to do. And also, John, are we on for the Pam Gregory meditation at 10:45 this
No,
Pacific time?
we're not this time. Not this
Not
time.
this time.
No,
Okay.
so we're going to skip this one. So,
Okay.
but having said that, of course, it's there for anybody to,
Mhm.
that is within the Elevated Planet channel to go through. You can either do it Pam Gregory alfresco style, which is just simply, following the guidelines that Pam gave, and you just do it for yourself, or go and open up that Elevated Planet guided meditation there to take you through the Pam Gregory inspired meditation, and that'll give you everything you need. And we'll definitely be
Yes.
coming back to that, but not this Sunday because there's too much stuff going on. But
Mhm.
again, so um, other than that, let's just wrap up with the usual, which is that we will be sending the newsletter out tomorrow with the edited version of this show. And anybody who wants to join our community, please drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life or to our website, which is elevatedplanet.life/contact, gets you to our free format contact page where you can send us a message of your desires. And we always promise to come back to you. Whatever you have to say, we will always come back to you, guaranteed. So, other than that, I think we're about there, Jolé. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you to everybody who's been here with us today. Really, truly appreciate it, and really, truly appreciate those who follow up as well on the recording. So,
Yes.
we love you all. And till next week, we will be back in touch and ready for action.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.